can't seem to let it go. Locked in this cage, I've been stuck here for days, and I can't seem to let you go. You pull me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out. Pushed you out, pushed you out. Come let me make up for all these pain. I've been a mess, tied by all these chains. Open my eyes, now I finally see. Shut the key, yeah. Can we be free? You pull me up, yeah. Can we be free? And I put you down. Well, I woke up and saw everything but you next to me. I know that I've been the enemy, but I've had my moment of gravity. Lost in the ceiling, caught up in the ceiling, I can't seem to let it go. Locked in this cage, I've been stuck here for days, and I can't seem to let you go. You pull me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out. Pushed you out, pushed you out. Come let me make up for all these pain. I've been a mess, tied by all these chains. Open my eyes, now I finally see. Shut the key, yeah. Can we be free? You pull me up, yeah. Can we be free? And I put you down. You pull me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out. Pushed you out, pushed you out. Don't let me make up for all these pain. I've been a mess, tied by all these chains. Open my eyes, now I finally see. Shut the key, yeah. You pull me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out. Pushed you out, pushed you out. Don't let me make up for all these pain. I've been a mess, tied by all these chains. Open my eyes, now I finally see. Shut the key, yeah. Can we be free? You pull me up, yeah. Can we be free? And I put you down.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Peel episode. What episode is this anyway? It's in the description. Episode 82, guys. We are on episode 82 of the Peel.
Episode 82. God,
82, bro.
Rolling. Wow.
We've got a great. Actually, I'm gonna say great show today. We don't have any guests, but we have what I actually think was better than what a lot of people honestly expected out of the Dynamo from the match against LA. We're going to set up SKC. We're going to play a trade game. Throw some names with a kind of a rumor out there. Not really a rumor. It was talked about on MLSsoccer.com. One of the videos there.
Theories, if you want to go with that.
There you go, theories. We've got Bazama news, Jurgen Damm news, and then we'll go through the league, run through the scores, the upcoming fixtures for the week. We've got the She Believes Cup that I just want to preview real quick, and then Edson will give us his Down the Valley minute. I don't think he's ready for it, but he is now. And what'd you say? Now you tell me.
Yeah, now you tell me.
And then we'll get this show rolling along. Excuse me, but
Como dijo?
damn, what a weekend, guys.
And yeah,
I know
it was better for us than it was for you.
Well, it's
Loser.
twofold. So
Loser.
real quick, we'll save the best for last because y'all's game was probably the better of the weekend. But everybody
absolutely, it was the better of the weekend.
Everybody who listens to the show knows that where I'm from, the team I truly support.
No one cares.
And, shut up, Edson. You're from the Valley. Nobody cares about the Toros.
Neither does the Dynamo, but that's a different thing. I'll give you that win this time.
But I did travel up to Frisco Saturday morning to see the Union play because it's weird how the MLS schedule is working this year. This is the only time I'll be able to see the Union in the state of Texas. So I did go up there. I'm not going to say the atmosphere was great because it wasn't. I mean, the stadium was only 3/4 full. But I did, and I thoroughly want to push this upon everybody. I don't care when you want to go up there, how you do it, even if it's outside of the soccer season. Go to the National Soccer Hall of Fame. If you are a international soccer fan, if you're an MLS fan, and they even have throwback NPSL stuff or NASL stuff, they've got a ton of women's soccer stuff. Go. It is probably one of the best museums I've ever actually paid money for. It's definitely worth going. They've got the Women's World Cup trophies there. The one thing the men will never win. They've got a lot of other artifacts. It's cool. Like they do. Jorge said, my wife just said, what the fuck did RGV comment? I'm joking. It's just because
he's a troll.
Yeah, we all. Oh, you're one to talk. You're the king of trolls.
Jorge, I have something for you next time I see you, man. Fridge magnet.
But it's cool. The one thing that I do want to point out, I'm not going to give the whole museum away. But when you walk towards the one back part of the museum, they have the current champions of pretty much everything in U.S. soccer or in the country outside of Division 3. No, outside of League 1 and down. So they don't have anything for USL League 2. But they've got the NCAA men's and women's soccer champions, Division 1, 2, and 3. They've got Supporter Shield for MLS, Supporter Shield for USL, the champions for MLS, USL, Open Cup champions, the women Supporter Shield.
So I'm guessing they have something for North Texas SC.
Yes, so they have the jerseys hanging up in this glass case, and it says, current champions or whatever. Yeah. It's actually really cool. It's actually worth the money. I'll go, and I got a veteran discount, so it was $12 for me to go. They have a shop that's tied into it too. You've got like all the international players that are on the U.S. squad. Mm-hmm. It's a really cool experience, and a lot of it's really digital too. So definitely go check that out when you're up there. But got a hotel right next to the stadium. Didn't have to drive much, and actually had a friend that I grew up with back home in Delaware come in for the game. Him and his wife and his 2 kids, and we got to watch the Union lose 2-0 to FC Dallas. But that's a different story. It is.
What an embarrassment.
And like I was telling you guys off air, it was weird because the scoreline is really not does not really tell the story of that match, because those 2 goals were kind of fluke goals, if you want to say that. The Union actually had more of the attack and looked like the better team most of the match. And I know Dynamo fans can understand where I'm coming from, because how many times over the last few years have the Dynamo been the better team and they choke it up on the final 10 minutes of the match? And it's the same kind of deal. But this isn't a Union podcast. This is a Dynamo podcast. I am going to lean on Edson and Josh a little bit. How was, first off, the atmosphere? I mean, I did go back and watch the game, and holy shit.
Man, I gotta applaud our supporters. That was awesome. That was epic, man. Dude, it looked like, I sat all the way on the other side of the pitch from them, and you could just see that entire side bumping, and you could hear them loud and clear. They didn't stop. It looked like a soccer atmosphere over there. I was very, very impressed and very happy with that. So dude, yeah, like, all those supporters, the H-Town,
Hustle Town supporters.
Yeah, Hustle Town. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep calling them H-Town hustlers. The Hustle Town supporters, man, they were on fire. So
now I did, and it's funny. We were sitting at a bar called First Round, which is a block up from the stadium. I watched the first like 35 minutes before I had to go into Toyota, and all you heard through the broadcast was the supporters, and even my friend Andre, who is actually, I mean, he's an FC Dallas fan. He was in the supporter section. He was like, damn, that stadium looks good. And he was giving props to the supporters groups, and it was definitely pretty cool to see that from, especially an opposing fan.
Yeah.
They brought it. And I do have to say, and I am not getting into this any farther than what I need to, that the LA Galaxy fan that decided to try to start shit with Dynamo supporters, he better never show his face again here in Houston. But that is all I'm going to say about that. I'm not diving any deeper into that. He's an asshole. Don't come back to this city. There is no need for that in this city. You can talk shit. You can get in each other's faces. But as soon as you start pulling that crap, you don't deserve to be a soccer fan.
Amen.
Yeah, I was at
I
that
did,
restaurant when all that was happening. That was that was interesting.
Jorge does ask who caught the march to the match.
I only got to see them once they were inside the stadium because I had to go pick up I picked up my press pass and everything.
I was late getting in just because obviously the traffic, and then of course the line getting into the stadium was long. So we got like to our seats like almost right after kickoff.
Yeah. So like
it was
I had some friends from McAllen come and watch the game, mostly go see Chicharito, and we got, because I took them to like go take around like the south side of the stadium where pitch 25 is, and that's when we got to see the march to the match happening in. And then went to go pick up my press pass, went inside, and they were going through. I saw them again once they were going through the hallways, but it sounded so nice, like seeing old, young people like chanting, playing their instruments, beating the drums, singing along. And it was a long line of Texian Army, of El Batallón, of the Surge, and of course of Bandera Negra. And one of the comments that I saw on Twitter was made by Cisco, is the beauty of it is, and I really agree with it, the beauty of it is like you couldn't really tell unless they had like a scarf or a shirt. You couldn't tell who was El Batallón. You couldn't tell who was Bandera Negra or the Surge, or Texian Army. It was all a one Houston Dynamo cohesive unit.
It's funny because isn't this something that we have all on this show been begging for years?
Yeah.
Yes. Was something like that, and how imposing that is. I would have hated to attack to that side.
Yeah.
Because that was honestly the best I have seen that supporters section look. And this is no diss to EB or TA. I understand it from a fan perspective that when the team's not doing what they're supposed to do, I understand not going to a match. Even though I am one of those people, you should still kind of go sometimes. But to see the upper and lower deck full and the flags waving, the songs, did they mix in some chanting? Because I had heard that was a possibility.
They did. Just a little bit.
They did. But props to that. I mean, you guys get all the props, and I have nothing bad to say.
It was definitely the atmosphere that you would want, for soccer in the city.
And what's really funny,
and it's cool, because the supporters, but of course, there's also then there's the attendance. I hope that the attendance, goes up and increases, stays consistent a little bit. Now, obviously, this stadium was full because it's opening day game. It's Chicharito making his debut with the LA Galaxy. So, there's obvious reasons of why it was fuller than normal, but I want to see it again. Like, I already know the supporters are going to do their part. want to see more fans now, man. I want to see other fans, and that that was impressive to see that, and it's like, well, hell yeah, this is what Dynamo games look like. It's like a first time fan and stuff.
And you know what? One of my friends that came from McAllen, diehard Americanista, never gone to not even a Toros match. Never, much less came to the Houston Dynamo game. He loved it. He loved the atmosphere at this game, and he wants to come back. Yes, hopefully against LAFC, but he wants to come back to the stadium again.
So can we talk about the elephant in the room? And that is, here was all this talk about, the game only sold out because of Chicharito. At least on the broadcast, even when he touched the ball, nobody was making a ton of noise for him. Mm-hmm. And
I heard more boos. Trying to put.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yep. Props to Houston, man. Y'all showed up and you made it realize that no, this is a Dynamo. This is a Dynamo home match. This is not a Chicharito FC home match. Somebody said Chicha-who. I have a nickname for him that I am not going to say on air. That is more fitting, and we have thrown this name around plenty of times in the AO watch parties because nobody likes him.
Chichadios.
But I don't want to dive too much into that. I do a little bit. I know Edson and I had talked about it last week. Is he just still really green with the LA Galaxy, or did it almost look? Hold on. Did it almost look like mid-match when he was starting to get frustrated? Like you could see it in his face, like, maybe I'm not cut out for MLS.
So, all right. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. All right, it is opening day game. All right, yeah, the dude's gonna find his form, But I mean, let's also notice this. Kiki Struno was on his ass, man. There's a reason that boy got Team of the Week, man. Kiki Struno was on him.
He owned him, and then he. Who was it? Was that a Kiki choke slammer?
Yeah,
that was.
that was
epic.
And you could see the face of it's kind of like the meme, the meme of the record scratch is like, you're probably wondering why I'm here.
No, Kiki shut him down, and honestly, somebody said Chicharito is literally a hype train, but he will be going to MLS this year. Dude, every time Kiki or Maynard covered him, boy got mad. He did. But honestly, with LA, I think Chicharito is going to be good. He might lead the team in assists. I don't think he's going to lead them in goals. I think Pavone is really going to be the guy to watch out for. And they were talking about it on the TDN broadcast, and that was Mar Manotas said this year he wants to score 30 goals, and I don't put it past him. And Manotas, and you've heard it here, Manotas will be in the final running for the Golden Boot.
I mean, if he's with us.
Yeah. I don't see him moving.
I hope not.
And then we'll get into why I don't see him moving later in the show. But let's break the game down a little bit. I'll get the lineup out real quick. Mm-hmm. And I'll lean on you guys more about the actual run play.
While I gonna give you time to get the lineup. One of the things that but basically one of the things that I was talking with my friends is, number one is one of the questions they were like, why is he the captain? And I asked myself the question too, why is Chicharito captain when never in any point of his career did I ever see, or anybody has ever seen, leadership characteristics in Javier El Chicharito Hernandez?
I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, and
there's only two people on the LA Galaxy's lineup that would have ever deserved it, and that's Kleshton and Leggett.
Yes, and also so that's number one. Number two, we got to remember Chicharito relies on tactics where they feed the ball to him. Once he's out of that 18-yard box, he's no good for you. And what did we see all this time with LA Galaxy? He spent most of his time outside of the 18 trying, and he was getting balls in 3/4 of the field, or even at the middle line. He's not going to be a Zlatan Ibrahimovic where he can out-muscle everybody, where he can out-jump everybody, where he can even feint anybody. He's not going to create his own opportunities. somebody has to create the job for him. All he needs to do is to tap it in. And the Dynamo did not let that happen in this match. That's why Christian Pavon was more of the best player for their team than Chicharito Hernandez. Chicharito Hernandez, you could have put in anybody from Los Dos, from LA Galaxy too, and it would have been the same damn thing. Because he was not very participative.
So the guys are good.
Yeah, so I was gonna say the guys are talking about the goal from Pavon too. So from the way that I saw it too, is that Zarek Valentin was so far up the field, on the attack, and there was no running back, no hustle to get back. Granted that dude balled out late in the game, but it's already like, I mean, they're passing the ball. It was their goalkeeper? Yeah, Bingham kicked the ball out to Pavon, and that's what caused the goal. But he ended up getting it, and it was just, I mean, it was a great ball, great goal. It was poor defending.
I've got to give props to Tommy Mack though. When he realized that he kicked that ball, and it allowed the room for the counter, he hustled back. I mean, obviously it was too late. That ball was already in the air by the time he got there.
Yeah.
But he realized that Valentin was already way out of position.
Way out of position. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also in kind of in a defense, to be fair too, it was this whole thing of Zarek Valentin had an illness.
Yeah.
He was sick or something like that too. So, I mean, there was a lot of stuff. I mean, it's look, a goal is a goal like that. That's gonna happen. You're gonna have mistakes.
Yeah. But here's the thing that kind of irked me is how timid in that play. How timid were Struna and Figueroa or somebody else, because.
Vera.
Yeah, Vera. I think Vera.
Yeah, it was
Vera.
Kiki and Vera
then
the ball,
why didn't one of them go up? Because he was outside. He was dribbling outside of the box, and there was so much space in between Pavon and the center backs and Matias Vera. Why didn't nobody put pressure on Pavon so that way he wouldn't have such a clear opportunity to think about what he was gonna do? Place that ball where he did. To me, that was very weak defending. I understand first couple of minutes, but you have to think about this too. Like the first couple of minutes, the Dynamo was so bad defensively. LA Galaxy had a post off a header by Alexander in the first 2 minutes. In the second minute, they had that post.
Yep.
And it took them a while to realize, hey, this is our home opener. Go ahead, Justin.
They're gonna have nervy feelings at the start. Granted, those nervy feelings did cost us an extra 2 points. Because after that goal, it was okay, they woke up, because the Dynamo dominated almost everything else in every aspect of the play, from the possession, which was fascinating to watch, and then also the defense on top of it too. After that, it was still shaky, but the hustle that these guys had. Anytime LA had someone on the ball, there was a Dynamo defender right there, right on top of them, hustling to them, blocking them from the net. I mean, it was great. It took, Jorge says usually it takes 15 to 20 minutes to settle in. After that, they were golden. Absolutely. Now, granted, it costed us 2 points, but it's the home opener. I'm going to let that slide.
Can I say something, though, that was noticeable under Tab that hadn't been noticeable under prior managers?
That when the Dynamo got calm on the sideline?
Well, that too. When the Dynamo gave up that goal, he changed the team, not formation wise, but instead of having the high press where everybody is up pitch, they held back a tiny bit more, not a lot, to not give up that same play again.
But what was it we were talking about leading up to this match? It's sad, and it looks like you said that Tab Ramos caught on to that. But that was one of the things we were talking about as last week. Going into this match is the amount of space that high pressure is going to leave. And what happened? We got caught up, and they took advantage of that space.
Yeah. And it was good.
I was gonna say I am like so impressed with Todd Ramos, how calm he is on the sideline, man. If there's a foul, last year we would have had Wilmer Cabrera jumping up off the bench, throwing his arms up. What the hell was that? Calling out the ref and stuff. But Tab Ramos is like so calm, so professional, gets his point to those players. Like, he's a good coach. You could just see it. Like, you could just
now,
see
do you
the
understand,
confidence.
Josh,
like,
why I was
confidence.
pissed off that he didn't get the U.S. job?
I understand that. Yeah, I mean, you're not the only one, but I'm honestly even happier now that he's coaching the Houston Dynamo. Much rather have that.
Real quick, let's run through the lineup. Because ruled out on Friday, we had tweeted it out. Ruled out was Albert Elise. Quintero was still doubtful, but he was ultimately ruled out for Saturday's match. But we did have Marco Maric and net, which I do want to touch on him just a little bit. Valentin, Struna, Figueroa, Lundqvist as your back line. Garcia, Vera, Martinez as your midfield. McNamara, Manotas, Memo as your guys up top. And Tommy Mack after the first, I don't want to say maybe 25 minutes of that match, Tommy Mack actually had a pretty decent game. As much as I love to troll him because I think he's the new Kevin Garcia, but he actually had himself a game.
I mean, for the depth that we had, considering you got to already assume that when Albert Elise comes back that Tommy Mack is going to go back to the bench. But if Tommy Mack is our depth for Albert Elise, I'm not mad. Like, I'm really not. Tommy Mack did play pretty well, man. He wasn't man of the match or anything, but he looked good.
Let's see how he does once he regains more of a fitness into mid season.
I agree.
Marco Maric, though, 24 years old, definitely looked like a veteran guy even after he gave up that first goal.
But there's nothing he can do about that goal.
No. And if it wins goal of the week, it should. Because, look, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you're playing. That goal was a beauty.
Unless it's Ter Stegen. But, look where he is.
Lost on a deuce. Said, I think we need more speed in our midfield. Vera Martinez tried to dribble out of pressure, but they were lacking
especially
speed
Martinez.
Successfully. Jorge said that's where Palomino will be. Look, it's only a matter of time, and we've all been really low on Tomas Martinez. I think Palomino is just sitting back waiting for his time because it's going to come.
So we're talking about So we talk about Palomino. We talk about, obviously, Vera's got central defensive locked down, and we have Martinez in there. So where does Memo, Martinez, Palomino, and Darwin Quintero all fit within each other there?
Simple.
Who goes on the bench? Who plays?
Simple.
I think. Good.
All right. So Vera will take the role of the defensive midfielder in this 4-3-3 formation. Right?
Take him out of
So he's locked in, right? And then you can put Boniek and Palomino next to him, and then up on top you'll have Elise, Quintero, and Mauro. Yes.
So you've already benched Memo and Tomas.
I am ever benching Memo this season. There's not.
Okay, so are you gonna sacrifice? Okay, so are you gonna sacrifice Quintero then, or is he gonna be the super sub?
I have no idea. That's what
Quintero
I'm trying to
would be my super sub. You've got to look at the age. I think he is a perfect 65, 70th minute sub. Perfect.
Well, he brings speed into the team,
but the thing,
then that's that shot in the arm you might need when you're 1-1 in the 65th minute.
But the thing about it is the way that Matt Jordan that have talked about Darwin Quintero during this offseason and preseason, and it's the signing. How are you going to keep the signing on the bench? That's the way I see it. Obviously, it makes no sense because Memo's been playing well. I do agree with that. But when it comes to how the Dynamo probably feel about it, I think it's a very good possibility that Memo is going to go on the bench and be sacrificed to bring in Darwin Quintero, unless you want to sacrifice, unless you want to sacrifice Boniek Garcia.
I don't know, man. I mean, Boney also played very, very well. Quintero was brought in as a DP. Was he really brought in as a DP?
Not necessarily. No, he wasn't a DP. No, I believe they bought him down.
We still have a DP slot open. We have Albert Delise and Tomas as our 2 DPs.
Unless you look at doing a 4-3-2-1,
which is going back to the formation we had last time, which would mean Boniek Garcia alongside Matias Vera. Then out on the wings, you would have Memo Rodriguez, and I would say Darwin Quintero or Elise. And then, and then the middle would be what, Palomino instead of Tomas Martinez?
Yeah.
And up on top, Anotas?
Yeah. Can I say this too, though? The same conversation we're having right now, we were not able to have that last year.
No.
Because that's just kind of like the depth that we have. That, we have a lot of these starters that couldn't play the opening day game because of injuries and whatnot. But if that's the depth that we have, man, I'm not mad at all. Like this is
it still needs to be a little bit more deep, but it is better. It is better than last year, in some way.
Yeah.
Because so you look at the bench. You had in the midfield. You also had Darwin Saren, available to be coming in. You had Alejandro Fuenmayor, Michael Salazar, Christian Ramirez.
Yeah.
It's
funny because
Nico Hansen.
Especially Ramirez. What is his role going to be now? Because we've seen it. The guy is a proven starter in this league. He's just got the short end of the stick. He was a starter in Minnesota, goes to LAFC. And there's no way he's being a starter there, And then he comes here, starts at the end of last year, and now he's the odd man out. And
I think I know where you're going with this.
Well, no, I'm not going into that yet. But just hold that thought that Ramirez is the odd man out right here, for the time being. But lost on a deuce, or Jorge says. Tomas Martinez, number 10, thumbs down. Memo looked good. Jorge Quintero was brought in as the DP. Quote, DP. Jorge says Christian Ramirez, sell to Atlanta. Again, hold that thought.
Oh, God, here we go. Don't give him ammo, George. Jorge, sorry.
But if you go and look at the passing accuracy has got me. 499 passes, 84% of them on point. To 75% of LA. They love to move the ball around, which I think going forward that's going to be really good. Always keep your opponent second guessing every move you got. And like Josh said, we led them in almost every single stat except for on target shots.
But here's the thing, and I was talking to my friends at the press box. Yes. The Houston Dynamo had more possession after those first shaky 15 minutes. But were they really dangerous on goal? Not at all. Also,
no.
Was this because the Dynamo forced LA Galaxy back? Or was it because LA Galaxy decided to give the Dynamo the ball and say, all right, let's see what you can do? And as time went on and it felt like the Dynamo was very bad in the attack. They weren't accurate at all, especially in that final third. They decided, all right, we know you can't do a lot of the damage to us. Do whatever you want with the ball. Good or bad, the way that Barros Escaloto moved his tactics around with that decision. We don't know what was going on through his mind. But in my way of thinking, this was more the fact that the Galaxy saw in the Dynamo a very meek attack when it comes to like actually having opportunities inside the box on target. They're like, all right, do what you want with the ball.
So, do you think that is just a product of Elise not being in the lineup or even on the bench.
One of the things that I said is we're missing that creative spark. Yes, yep. Albert, absolutely right. The fact that we did not have Albert Elise to wreak havoc in the defensive lineup, that was that's why I think one of the reasons why the Galaxy went on with the match the way that they did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, look, when Elise gets back, I want to see this team under Tab Ramos with all the weapons that he has at disposal. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see him, and I don't want to see him play against some, weak team either. I want to see him play against another LA Galaxy or something, I want to see him play against one of the best and see how, at the Dynamo at their fullest and at their best play against, one of the higher elite teams in this league. And then come back and judge how this team is going to be.
Yeah. Only other thing I want to touch on, again, props to the sellout crowd, 22,039. That's amazing. Did you guys want to add anything else to the Houston LA match?
There's a lot that can add into this game. I mean, man, I will say this though, BBVA's got to do a better job of getting people into that stadium faster. That was absolutely ridiculous, man. We stood in line for forever. You just got to get people in that stadium faster. Especially with the Houston traffic and stuff, and granted, I can't spend my time like we used to, where I'm going up there to pregame and stuff. I can't do that anymore, just because when my wife goes with me, she can't be out in all that at the moment. So when we're trying to chase it and get to the game, and then of course we had traffic, the last thing I want to do is stand in a long line to get to that stadium.
The one thing I did want to bring up, that goal by Manotas though in the 54th minute.
Talk about awareness by Valentin. Talk about awareness by Valentin.
Yeah.
You look back at the replay and you see, and this is where I'm going back with needing a player that wreaks havoc and confusion on other teams' defenses. In this play, that back line by LA Galaxy was all over the place, and they left so much space that number one, they left Mauro Manotas they left him onside with nobody marking him. And the defenders, the two defenders on the left, were angled in a position that they were never going to intercept that through ball by Zarek Valentin. And they left him so much open space in between that back line and Bingham. And his awareness that even with Bingham coming out, just slotted to his right side as he's coming up, kind of opposite to where the momentum was taking him. That's spectacular by Mauro.
Jorge says maybe Nico over Tommy Mack next time.
I did not like Nico at all, to be honest.
He also said he was trying to get his Jorge said he was trying to get his tickets scanned, and he told him they need to upgrade his phone. He has an S10. It's a Dynamo issue. It's not a phone issue. Yeah, missed our rally flags and early rewards.
Yeah, but kind of touching real quick back with Edson though, Zarek Valentin too, and that's supposed to be our backup behind Jose Bazama. That dude is solid. That dude was solid. Yeah. He got into after that goal, man. From LA Galaxy, man, he was on point. That dude was, like you said, he was wreaking havoc.
So
the vision was great.
Mm-hmm. So the Lost Son of Deuce says, I love Valentin, but he needs to get better at crossing the ball. Well, technically, that's not really his number one priority.
Yeah.
But here's another thing. You know who really needs to work on his crossing? Nico Hansen. Why? Yeah. How terrible that he looked in that match. He couldn't trap the ball correctly. He was losing the balls a lot of the times. He was being out-muscled. Yeah. The times he had, there were times that he could have crossed, never did. And when he did, there was one, it looked like he was trying to cross it, I'm guessing towards Manotas, who was in the near the penalty spot. The ball went towards the towards a goal kick. It was just so bad that we were like, are you kidding me, Nico? Like, seriously. Like, he was, I don't know, it was a huge letdown for me seeing all of that. Like, I understand that, okay, he came in, like, as a substitution in the 77th minute, if I'm not mistaken. Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, and it takes a while to get back into the groove of the game. But you can't possibly explain a cross looking more like a really bad shot rather than an actual cross towards Mauro Manotas. In that play, Mauro Manotas was in a clear opportunity to score. Yeah. Wasted opportunity. Yeah. So
it felt like the Dynamo were kind of cutting more inside though, rather than just going straight to the crosses and playing out wide. That's just what I saw, was a lot of them playing on the inside, and that's why, like, Memo or Tomas, they're having to dribble out of play a lot of times. Same with Boniak. I was impressed with the way that they controlled that ball though. The crossing does need to get better though, but I don't think that this is going to be a team that's just going to be full on crossing the ball all the time, because clearly they showed that they can't do it. And then also, who's going to be there in the middle to head the ball to play it in? Mm-hmm. It's not like Mauro Manotas is the size of Christian Ramirez. Now, when you're having a player like Christian Ramirez, who actually has the height to get on the end of one of those crosses, that's a different story too. But also, I mean, I like the way that they were playing more on the inside.
One thing I did want to touch on is with Manotas' goal, he now has 49 goals in his career with the Houston Dynamo. That puts him one behind Will Bruin. He's gonna shatter that before he's done being here.
Yeah.
You guys want anything else?
No.
No, not really. Just pretty much. I think we covered most of what we needed to cover. The points.
I do, because I forgot to do my homework. Not homework. The business side of things before the show. Definitely go ahead and give this video a like, share it, subscribe to our channel. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at the Peel05. And this episode's also brought to you by Matt Flora Photography. He is in the process, actually, he's at almost every match. He takes really good pictures. Matter of fact, the one Edson threw up on the screen with Manotas was actually taken by him. He's going to end up working on a site to sell some of his stuff. So if you guys do have a game room or you want some Dynamo memorabilia stuff signed, at least picture-wise, he's going to work on getting all that stuff up there too. Definitely check him out, Matt Flora Photography on Facebook and Instagram.
Still a little bitter that Matt beat me by 5 points in fantasy, but then again, at least I fielded a team.
Yes. So if you guys weren't aware, the Peel does have a fantasy league that started. I don't think they're taking any more entries as the season goes on. I'm going to take a look at that after that, and I'll tweet it out if so. But it is back, and next week we actually have a Peel Derby between Josh and myself, and I'm going to beat his ass.
Hey, we need to make a bet, because we played each other 4 times, so we do need to have some kind of a series bet going on, which we can discuss off air. I forgot to talk about it.
We've got to drink a whole 6-pack of, like, I don't know.
I mean, I was going to go back to, like, wearing the FC Dallas shirt for another season or something like that.
I mean, it's up in the closet. I've kept it for that reason.
Hey, of course. See, there you go. It's the last
I heard my name. What were you going to say, Justin?
You're garbage, and you didn't field the team, and you scored 0 points.
Okay. And?
That's
but at least I have a badass name for my team.
It doesn't matter too though. The guy that you played against, he outscored everybody, so he would have won regardless. He'd still be number 1, thanks to you not fielding a team though.
But that will close out the Houston LA match, and we will go ahead and get set up for the first road match of the season. We Dynamo are going to travel up to SKC and take on Sporting Kansas City Saturday at 7:30. March 7th. They currently sit second in the West. Then again, the record really doesn't matter. There's only one match played. But they did have a 3-1 win over Vancouver this weekend. Polino scored his first goal. Or Polito, excuse me.
Yep.
Or is it Polito? That's what I thought. Scored his first goal for SKC. Who's going to have a better year than Chicharito? Why did it? Hold on.
They had a better first week than Chicharito, that's for sure. So
Definitely.
But then also Chicharito had a better first week than Edson's fantasy team.
Shut it.
Edson, you're not gonna ever get rid of this, okay? It's gonna stay here.
I mean, it's not hard.
Forever.
Don't forget to set your lineup next time, and that's it.
This is my first fantasy league, okay?
No excuses. Just go start picking people.
But let me do my thing real quick. All-time record, all competitions, 42 matches. That includes MLS Cup playoffs. 16 wins, 12 losses, 14 draws. Regular season, 10 wins, 8 draws, 13 draws. We currently have a 53% win percentage over them. Last 5 matches versus SKC. Unfortunately, we're 0-3 and 2 with a 20% win percentage. That's because they factor in draws into your win percentage. Let's see. And then on the road, however, we're not actually that bad on the road. We do pull out some road results. 4 wins, 4 losses, 7 draws in 15 matches. Last 5 against SKC at Children's Mercy Park. 2-3 with a 30% win percentage. So there's opportunity there, and I'm actually really curious to see how Tab takes this team that has been horrible on the road over the last couple of years, and turns this into a team that can actually take road results and actually be really good.
Oops.
I mean, yeah, no. If you're gonna go out and coach a winning team and get some results on the road, the best time to do it is in the most probably worst atmosphere. Well, I wouldn't say worst. Let's say worst for us, because that's probably one of the best soccer atmospheres that you can go to in Major League Soccer. I mean, do it against Sporting Kansas in their home opener. Mm-hmm. That's the best, opportunity to open your account on the road. Mm-hmm. If you really, really want to get, it's not an opportunistic. It's not an easy task. Let me put it like that. It would be more of like an opportunistic time for us, So if you're gonna go in there and you are actually meaning business and you want to get some road results, do it against one of the best teams that at home.
You guys want to, because I did ask that question to Zarek Valentin regarding away results regarding the Houston Dynamo. Mm-hmm. So if you guys want to hear that audio, I can go ahead and play it.
You got that?
Yes,
clip
I do have that.
on
yes.
road results? Yeah, go ahead and play it.
All right, here we go.
Are we muted?
No, hold on.
So we have to kind of get used to working with Kiki a little bit. I didn't get a chance to play with him a crazy amount in preseason, but we have a very good communication, a very good relationship off the field. So those things will come, and I'm just excited to be a part of this team. There's a lot of really good players, and as a defense, we know that if we keep our team in the game as long as possible, we'll probably create some decent chances. So I think we have to look at be introspective in that sense and say, you know what, we want to give our team the best chance possible. And with guys like Manotas and Christian coming off the bench, you got Tommy and Nico, and obviously we have some decent players who didn't dress up tonight. So, if we can give those guys 90 minutes, they'll probably find a goal or two. And it's just a matter of us to put fires out and to try to work on that chemistry and the communication, from here going forward.
Next match is in a way, it's on the road. One of the biggest things about this team in the past couple of seasons has been the huge disparity between home matches and away matches. How has the team looked at this and to improve it now on their first road game?
Yeah, obviously, I'm a new guy, so I don't necessarily know exactly home form, away form, tactics, things like that. But typically, throughout my time in the MLS, I've realized that the best way to play on the road is to just be united in your belief and your idea and typically you have to start off well. A lot of teams come out and press you and put you under it, for the first 10, 15 minutes, especially in Kansas City. We all know that. So I think that, going into games and having the right mentality to start the games is important. And a lot of that comes from guys who've been around the block a little bit, some of the older dudes and myself, to try to get the guys going and to weather that potential, the impending storm, because we all know it's going to happen. And then once that happens, settle. I'm not a huge proponent of worrying too much about the other team. What are their tactics? Who are they playing? How do they score their goals? I'm a big believer in the fact that we need to be aware of the other team, but we need to focus on ourselves. Because when this team plays the level we can play at, we're going to be a pretty damn good team. Obviously, we have to go out there and execute. But I think that if we are cognizant of the other team and focus on ourselves, I think, we'll give some teams some problems.
So that was Zarek Valentin after the Houston Dynamo versus LA Galaxy match. I asked him about road form and how they can improve. What did you guys think of his comments?
I mean, he hits it right, right on the nail, head of the nail. Is you have to believe you have to believe in your tactics and your game planning. And not have this mindset of, well, let's just go in and try to hold a draw, because in this new MLS you can't. You have to get good road results, and that's my thought on it.
The Dynamo, the way they played against LA Galaxy, after the LA Galaxy goal, I really, really want to see that again, in Kansas City. And it's just like, I keep joking with my wife, like when we were watching the game and stuff, and like, if Boniak Garcia would run someone over and get the ball back, I mean, you got to do that. You have got to really impose your will. You have got to go in there with heart. You got to stick with your game plan, and I think that Tab Ramos is going to definitely bring that that kind of energy into this next game on the road. And they're playing against a good team, man. I mean, Kansas City already went on the road and did their part. Now they got to go do it at home.
So
like I said, this is the best time to do it. Do it against one of the
best.
So
do you think that this season is going to be different from, like, Tab Ramos is going to be different with Wilmer Cabrera, where Wilmer Cabrera is more along the lines of, let's see, like, a lot more conservative on the road, just trying to let the other team take over pretty much the game and just react to what that other team was doing?
It's too early to tell, obviously, because they've only had one game at home. So we haven't seen this team on the road yet with Tab Ramos.
Let me ask you this, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, would you be, if a loss was to happen, but it wasn't a bunker down loss like the Dynamo had been known for, but it was, they put out every effort, they led the game in shots on goal, and still lost. Would you take that kind of effort over a bunkering and hope not to lose kind of effort, or throw it all out there on the line?
Yes, absolutely. I'd rather lose the game trying to fight than lose the game bunkering and, letting them have their way with us. I really look. So even if the Dynamo go in and they lose this game next on the road, I'm not going to be mad, because these are the games that, lose the first couple games, whatever, but don't carry that crap into late in the season. Teams Seattle did it last year. They went on to win the MLS Cup. They just got hot at the right time, but they learned each other. They built their chemistry. They have a great coach with Ryan Smetzer and stuff. So, and that you gotta trust the process. Like you gotta trust and have the faith in Tab Ramos. And I was, like I said, man, I was very, very impressed with what I saw. Granted, it's one game. I'm always impressed with their home openers. It's just fun atmosphere. It's always fun to watch them, but I want to see consistency with it. I'm firmly confident though with the coach that they have.
Yeah. Let's see. So we'll move on from the one thing I did want to put out there is the supporters groups. I know Jorge has connections. The Surge, Bandera Negra, TA, El Batallon. If you guys tweet it out, we will definitely retweet it. I want everybody who's a supporter, go out to a bar, demand that they put the game on Saturday, and pack that place. Drink, have fun, be safe, obviously. But pack any bar. Tell them to turn their damn Dynamo or the TVs on to the Dynamo. This is the type of support we need in this city. It's not just what happens at the stadium. It's how you support them on the road too.
Yeah, there's a lot of bars I refuse to go back to just because they denied me turning the Dynamo game on. Yeah. I'm just like, okay, well, cool. I just go somewhere else then.
But let's grab the prediction real quick, so I can write that down. This week we all got destroyed in our predictions, so we're all winless. Josh, we'll start with you. What do you say?
I'm gonna say 2-2.
Damn it.
2-2 draw.
I'm assuming Edson's also gonna say 2-2.
Edson, are you saying 2-2 draw?
No, I'm saying no. I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna say? 2-1 Sporting Kansas City.
Ooh.
2-1 Sporting Kansas City. Right, a goal by Alan Pulido, but the Dynamo are gonna lay it all on the line.
Okay. I can't be totally mad at that. SKC did net 3 against Vancouver. There's still a big question mark over Vancouver, so you really can't put too much in that game. Is SKC really a good team according to extra time? Not really. So honestly, I'm probably going to go the draw route. I'm going to go probably 2-2, the same as Josh, only because it's a more reasonable scoreline. I do agree with Edson, though. I do think Polito scores. Hopefully, Edson, or not Edson, Elise will be back, and I think him and Manotas both score. That was gonna be my next kind of question. Like, who do y'all think Albert Elise and Quintero comes into play? Like, do you think we get those guys?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just know that Albert Elise has been out from the start of the beginning of the
Thank you, Robert Coronado, for injuring Albert Elise. I love you, bro, but man, I hate you for this.
I don't know, and I haven't heard anything from the team, nor have I seen any sources of him playing next week. But I would think tomorrow Tab is going to have a press conference, and once that's up and I'm home from work, I will actually edit that and load that up.
Now, also, with that being said, when Albert Elise comes into play and he's healthy, do they, announce that?
Yeah, they will.
But why?
I think it might actually be an MLS rule.
Is it really?
I think so. I think you have to announce.
Do y'all know what city we are? We're Houston, man. We can fucking cheat all we want, you know.
Wow, way to drop any subscribers we had.
Sorry, I had to do that little Astros little jab there.
Wow.
Moving on. Yeah. Moving on. We do have a few other things to hit up.
What's up, Harry?
Wow, late as ever. That just must.
It's okay. It's okay. He's still trying to get over the fact that RGV defeated San Antonio preseason, but still a win.
It doesn't matter. It's preseason.
I don't care. I take all my victories any way I want it.
But Bazama Friday, which I didn't even notice. I caught the last 15 minutes of training, unless he had got hurt earlier.
It was earlier from
Bazama is out for 3 months due to a fractured fibula.
Ouch.
So, Lester, who if you do not follow him on Twitter, definitely follow him. He puts out breaking stuff from the Dynamo fairly regularly. But he is out for the next 3 months. Wish him a speedy recovery. Curious to see how this plays out. I mean, Valentin now is going to be your starter. At least for the next 3 months. So I'm curious to see how he deals with that. Which I'm not worried because Valentin put in work Saturday. So He's been around the league. He's played for some of the better, or one of the better.
But here is my question, and I know Glenn Davis posted that when he posted about Bizama's injury on Facebook, he asked the question, is Sam Junqua ready for to be called up if anything happens with Zarek Valentin? But here's the thing, though. We have no depth at all with Bizama gone. We have no depth at all in that position, and the reason I say this,
and right back.
Yeah, this is why I'm saying this. We've only had Bizama, right, and then Zarek Valentin, right. Sam Junqua technically plays on the left, and I'm sure you can put it on the right. But guess what? RGV lost Andrew Samuels for the whole season. Who is technically the third in line in that position for the Dynamo, if needed? Who are you going to put in now to be the backup of Zarek Valentin while or Jose Bizama recovers?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you bring up a good point.
Justin, are you trying to say something? Because I can't hear anything out of your mouth.
Sorry. You want to hear anything out of his mouth?
Wow. No, I am. So on Transfer Market, it shows you where every player has ever played. So if that was to ever happen, Fuenmayor and Struna have both played matches at right back. So you do.
So you want to go the Kevin Garcia experiment, but with somebody else?
I'm not saying you. I mean, but it's an experiment that you may have to have if you don't have any other resources. I mean, honestly, I would put Kiki there only because he is experienced, and I think him being that veteran guy and having, like I said, that experience, he would be able to help the team in that situation because he's been there, he's played there. I would not put Fuenmayor there.
Hell no.
I'm keeping him in his natural position and never touching it because the guy he could barely do his natural.
Jorge Kyle Adams. Kyle Adams did play some matches as a left back actually with RGV.
Yes,
but he's more of a center back.
Which it's funny because he's actually listed on Transfer Market as a left back, but I think he had more matches.
So at FIFA
as a left back.
So does also in FIFA. I saw that when I was playing Josh last time. And annihilated him.
So, like I said, Bizama is out for 3 months. Now, other news that broke in the league, which I actually watched most of this match before I went over to the Toyota Stadium. Joseph Martinez is out for an extended period of time. Guy tore his ACL, and if there's one guy in the league that I feel horrible for, it's him. I mean, he's probably one of the, if not the best player in MLS. And to see a guy like that go down and know it almost immediately, it was kind of painful to watch. This takes us to this little game I want to play. We are going to run a little over tonight, but it's good because we got a good discussion going on. With that being the issue, Tomas, or I don't know why I keep saying Tomas, Joseph Martinez going down. We do have a few extra strikers on our bench, and MLS, one of their, Kalen Carr had actually brought it up, is the name Christian Ramirez. And if you're Atlanta and you need somebody who can score goals in this league, why not take a flyer on him? You know, I know Josh. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm kind of reading this article like that MLS has 10 transfer targets that could replace Joseph right now, and they got Carlos Baca, Olivier Giroud, Klaas Jan Huntelaar.
I thought Huntelaar retired already.
He hasn't come to MLS, so apparently not. Okay, let's see, Daniel Sturridge. I mean, they don't have players.
Oh, he's with Ajax. He's with Ajax still.
Yeah, they don't have players like Christian Ramirez on that list.
Not that list, no. But on the video that recapped the one I sent you guys, it makes sense if you think about it within MLS, and the Dynamo actually hold all the keys in this transaction. If if they want to come after him, guess what? You're going to give us Gam. You're going to give us Tam. You're going to give us the guy from Phoenix Rising.
Adam John.
Name. I didn't write it down. Adam John. Okay. And then on top of that, we also own Jurgen Damm's rights. One of those players that Atlanta had supposedly already has a deal in the works for, but we own their rights. Under the prior CBA, I don't know if it's changed, they would have to pay the Dynamo at least $50,000 to get his discovery rights. So if you're that desperate and you need that striker, why not? I mean, and when Elise comes back, you have Quintero, you have these other guys. Right now, Christian Ramirez is just rotting away on the bench. And if you have that option to get that money, especially Tam, guess what? You could probably use that money to keep Manotas too.
That's if Atlanta comes after them, you know.
That's true.
If it happens,
this is all hypothetical.
Yeah, this is all hypothetical. Like, that's why I don't see it happening, because like, if I'm there, I don't know who the Atlanta's general manager is, but if I'm their general manager and I know I got Arthur Blank, he's going to give me money to go out and buy another player to go back up Joseph Martinez right now while he's out on his ACL injury and stuff, I'm going to go out and be like, all right, yeah, I want a player like Daniel Sturridge, or I want Carlos Baca. I don't want to go get me a MLS player. You know what's funny?
You know what's funny, Josh, is that you mentioned Daniel Sturridge, and just seconds before, Harry says Sturridge got a FIFA ban till June.
Oh wow, that's hilarious.
apparently because he has something to do with gambling. Something on himself. So, but
Edson, you would know this more. John is not better than Martinez.
Ramirez?
Is he? Yeah.
He was great at the USL level. Haven't seen him play at the MLS level. And Christian has proven himself in the MLS level.
It's one of those things. It would make sense if you are Atlanta United. Don't go out and go spend this money on a guy from Europe that's going to cost you that much. When in reality, it could be a rental.
I will say this though, and I think that's what Josh was trying to get at a little while ago. That the owner is Arthur Blank. He's not going to be shy about spending money. Why don't you think that they might try get, I don't know, Edu Vargas or Ener Valencia from Tigres rather than going for Christian Ramirez? Because you want a starter that kind of that will make an impact. That also has
maybe it's just me, but I've always been really high on Christian Ramirez.
No, I get you. So I get you. But in the marketing and in the impact standpoint, like for the fans, if you've got Ener Valencia leaving out on a free soon, or Edu Vargas as well, his contracts are running out soon. También, why not go for them? Edu Vargas, a national for the Chilean national team.
Here's another reason why. The MLS window doesn't close for another couple weeks. You could get Ramirez now. You're gonna have to wait till the summer transfer window to get these other guys, Jurgen Damm, Valencia. You're gonna have to wait for that. Are you really willing to sacrifice now until the summer transfer window and not have anybody to fill in for that time? Or you have a guy from USL that's unproven? Or would you rather go after a guy that can at least get you that summer transfer window?
Are they still in? When's their next CONCACAF game?
This week,
CCL tournament.
Not this week, but next week. I mean, that was my whole argument about this. Is you've got to look at the transfer window. You could transfer within MLS now. So, do you do that move now if you're Atlanta? And then if you're Houston, do you take that money now and get Manotas signed long term?
If you're Houston, yeah, you take the money. Oh yeah, if you're Houston, you take the money regardless of what it is.
And sacrifice that. Let's face it, Ramirez was going to be Manotas' fill-in once Manotas was moved.
I mean, if
you have the option to get that money,
yeah, there's no sense in keeping him here. But like, it just depends on how it all plays out. Like, if I'm Houston, I go after it. I take it.
Now, are you Houston knocking on their door, trying to push that trade, or are you Atlanta being desperate and making that trade?
Possibly Matt Jordan's. I mean, I could see Matt Jordan go to them. I mean, I'm sure he's not the only one though. I'm sure there's tons of
Sly is really high on Barco, but the question marks are still out there on Barco and Pity Martinez.
I think Barco has improved, but
he has improved.
So I'm looking at the roster for Atlanta United right now. Just in the forward position, they've got 5 players, including Joseph Martinez. You got John Gallagher from Ireland, Adam John, Lagos Kunga, Joseph Martinez, obviously, and Jake Mulroney. I don't think they're going to be at that desperate.
That's right. No, I don't know. It was just it's a good thought process to have.
I think.
Hey, if the Dynamo were able to get the money out of it,
but
I mean, why
but
not?
But the thing about it is, like, if they already have a couple of players that maybe can hold you out till the whatchamacallit, they can hold you out till the summer, and you can get some players for free, and you just have to pay their salary instead of overspending for somebody that's just a MLS level. And you can get somebody that in theory has more talent for free. Why not wait?
Yeah. It is a good discussion to have, especially with the whole Jurgen Damm thing and how we also own his rights. So, I mean, if the Dynamo really wanted to be rude, you could just be like, look, unless you pay us his discovery rights, unless you work out a trade where we get money, we're not going to give you the discovery rights. And
why would you just give them the discovery rights? No, yeah,
they would have to pay for it. But what I'm saying is, right now the Dynamo hold that card.
I mean, absolutely. I'd be like, well, I mean, how bad do y'all really want them?
Yeah. Well, really apparently the deal's already signed, and I thought though that in order for you to actually have that contract, because apparently he already has an MLS contract, you have to get the discovery rights paid for first. Like there's step 1, step 2, step 3. And from what I've heard, that step 1 is paying off the discovery rights. So Harry says you make yep, good.
Harry says you make the move if you want to push for CCL, in my opinion. Yeah, it depends on how bad they want CCL. I mean, at this point in time, is CCL in their mindset? They don't have Joseph Martinez. Like, I mean, I'm sure you still have it in your mindset, but now it's like, well, we don't have Joseph Martinez.
A couple things I want to run down just real quick. Josh, do you have the MLS scores opened up or no?
Yeah, I do.
I think I closed them just.
Yeah, okay.
And if you guys want to read Spanish, I do have a quick little recap of all the games for week one.
No one cares. So to open the scoring, it was Colorado versus DC United. Colorado beating DC 2-1 with a late. Was it Kai Kamara that scored that late?
No, Kai Kamara scored first. It was Jonathan Lewis
scored the equalizer.
Yeah, Jonathan Lewis was
at the death. I loved watching every bit of that one.
Yeah.
Josh, I'll take the next one. We'll just rotate through.
Yeah, go.
Montreal Impact opened up at home, beating the New England Revolution 2-1. Urruti has a golazo of a goal. It was beautiful. Skip the Dynamo one. Edson, you're next.
So San Jose drew 2-2 at home with Toronto FC. At the death, Osvaldo Alanis scores a free kick from an almost impossible angle, and rescued the match for San Jose Earthquakes.
Yeah, and then I got this next one here. It was FC Dallas beating the Bimbo Philadelphia Unions 2-0.
Let's learn how to
one of the most dominating performances you will ever have seen by FC Dallas, with that amazing crowd they have, wearing those amazing.
Oh, real quick, I do want to throw this out there. I pissed off a few fans when I was there, and it was worth every bit of it.
You're not surprised.
There was a foul in the box, but it wasn't card worthy, and it wasn't PK worthy. and a bunch of the fans in front of me were screaming for a PK. So me, already being a few drinks in, said, "Learn the rules, you fucking Frisco soccer mom." So,
Dan, I'm shocked you didn't get kicked out for that.
Yeah, well, no, it's only if he had gone on with the Dynamo shirt. That's when they kick people out.
Oh, that would be great.
Of course.
Sly does bring up one thing. CCL is cool, but not worth it for the money. No, but big worth it for prestige. I think if MLS starts winning it, the money will also get better. It's just people don't really pay attention to it.
So Jorge also says, does anybody know how discovery rights are handed out, or is Dynamo first to sign all new incoming talent that MLS signs?
No, I think each team just has it's almost like when you do NFL fantasy draft where you have your pre-select players, but it's on rotation. Like there's a list out there, and I remember when Zlatan was originally talked about coming to the league, the union actually held his discovery rights, and it was a whole big deal when his name was first known in MLS. And that's all it is. It's just a list, and it's a way for money to move around. Because 9 out of 10 times, these players that are on the team's discovery list don't actually end up with the teams that are actually they're listed on. Jumping to the next one, Orlando City and RSL draw, and boring. Go ahead, Edson.
Yeah, so the only thing interesting about that match was 79th minute, you had the debut of Giuseppe Rossi for RSL. Next match, Nashville, with their debut at home as an MLS franchise, fall to Atlanta United.
5,000 or something like that.
Yeah, at Nissan Field. They lose 2-1 against Atlanta United. Ezequiel Barco at the 9th minute. Walker Zimmerman scores the first official goal for Nashville in the 20th minute. Then Emerson Henman in the 37th puts the final score for Atlanta United.
Hey, kudos to Joe Willis for making that save way outside of the box and not getting a red card.
So real quick before we go on, all right, red card or not a red card?
No, that's a red card. That is a red card in any aspect of this game, and I have no idea why it was not called.
It's called. Really. It's pro refs, and you have no idea why that wasn't a red card. Continue.
But it was blatant, and that's the issue with it. Like, it wasn't just maybe it's a red card. No, it was a red card. Go ahead, Josh. You're next.
Then Sporting Kansas opening up on the road to Vancouver, winning 3-1. Did not watch the game, so I know that Polito scored. That's all I knew from it, though.
Then we had Columbus Crew taking one away from NYCFC. NYCFC gets the red card. Crew wins 1-0.
All right. New York Red Bulls defeat at home FC Cincinnati at home 3-2.
Seattle beating Chicago 2-1 at home. Jomo doing some work in the second half, coming on as a super sub, bro. They were down 1-0 in that game, and then late Jordan Morris just coming into play.
I feel bad for Chicago in the sense that in the first half they had 2 goals called offside, or something. That's what I was reading from the recaps.
LAFC takes the first match to enter Miami. Miami loses their first one. Vela scores a FIFA type goal, chips it over to keeper. They win 1-0.
It was Purdy.
It was,
and it was his birthday.
No one cares.
We really don't.
I do.
All right, Edson, you got the last.
So the final
shocker, actually.
Yeah, so the final game of the week 1, Portland loses at home to Minnesota 3-1. It was an epic match by Ethan Finlay, who got all 3 assists in the match. 2 scored by Kevin Molino, and the second goal was scored by Luis Amarilla.
So
quick, Minnesota, dude.
I do want to throw that out there. Is this the Minnesota that is going to be Minnesota that took 3 years to become? Or did Portland really just shit the bed at home?
I think a little bit of both.
I think it's more along the lines that this Minnesota might surprise a lot of people.
Absolutely. They surprised us last year. Yeah, they surprised us last year. I think they're going to do it again this year. I think Minnesota. Consider Minnesota to still be just like last season, a dark horse in this league.
So Jorge says, so does that go down as a save in reference to the Joe Willis goal?
That's actually a good question. That's a great question.
It is. I need to find that out. Lost Son of Deuce, I'm so jealous of LAFC. I think everybody outside of LA is jealous of LAFC and that atmosphere. Harry said, Outer Miami with the worst away kits, just plain white T-shirt.
They decided not to go with Adidas this year, and they just went with Hanes.
Well, he did sign a huge deal with
Qatar Airlines.
Yeah, so it's probably only a matter of time. I don't know if they're allowed to put it on this season now.
No,
or if they have to wait.
No, they have to wait because remember when the Houston Dynamo had that thing with MD Anderson, they had to wait until next season.
So I'm not going to go into this week's matches. You already know which ones you really need to worry about, and that's the SKC Houston match. But we got a full slate of games again this weekend. The U.S. Women's National Team also starts the She Believes Cup. What day is that on? On the 5th. 6 o'clock in Orlando. Matches on ESPN2. And they'll be taking on England, the 2019 champions of the She Believes Cup. And then the other match for this week is March 8th, 4 o'clock ESPN versus Spain. So those are out there too. Edson, why don't you go ahead and give us our Down the Valley Minute?
Sure. So this week we are not having a show during the week because it is the RGVFC home opener this Sunday at I believe 6:30 p.m. So we are going to be having a live show before the match at HCB Park. So be tuned in for that. We do have some new merch that just came in today. We got some fridge magnets that I will be giving out to anybody that goes down to the Rio Grande Valley and goes to the Stampede tailgate. But this week, during the week, we are going to be having a Copa Tejas roundtable with other Texas USL podcasts like Harry's San Antonio Soccer Roundtable, the Three Birds Boldcast for Austin Bold, and Seriously Loco for El Paso Locomotive, as well as the coordinators for the Copa Tejas trophy. We will be having some discussions about what we liked about the first year of Copa Tejas, what could be improved as well, and different ideas that we want to throw everyone's way. It's kind of like it's going to be a really good discussion. It will be Thursday at 8 p.m. It'll more than likely be on Copa Tejas's Periscope on Twitter. So go ahead and follow them at Copa Tejas, Tejas with a J. And I'll be there. So be sure if you guys want to know more about this interstate rivalry at the USL level, be sure to check out that show. And still debating whether to be at 4 on Sunday, but be on the lookout for that live show, that Down in the Valley live show from HEB Park. It'll be me and Jacob, and hopefully some other people that will be discussing RGVFC as they take on LA Galaxy 2 on Sunday, March 8th.
Badass. That's actually going to be a badass show. But that's Down in Valley Minute. But I think that's going to do it for us. You guys got anything else you want to throw out there?
No, man. Today's my last day in my 20s.
That's right. Happy birthday, Josh. Josh's birthday is Tuesday, so tomorrow, March 3rd. It is March 3rd, right?
It is March 3rd, yeah.
And
I was like, wait, I'm really questioning my friendship
it's
now.
the last day in my 20s.
So what are we celebrating? When are we celebrating?
Saturday.
Sweet.
Hell yeah.
Woo. Also guys, don't forget going a little bit outside of of soccer and sports. Tomorrow is the primaries here in Texas. So
yeah, go out and vote. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, whatever you are, go out and vote. It's your American right. And I did have this discussion. I know this isn't a political podcast, but if you have came here and you've busted your ass to get your citizenship too, and if you need to get out there and vote. It is the one thing that we hold true and near dear in this country is your right to vote in this country. So definitely get out and do that. We will be back next week. Next Monday. Excuse me. Next Monday. Look for this podcast March 3rd, Tuesday. So tomorrow. I should have it up first thing in the morning, so you can listen to it throughout the day. What else? I think that's it. Let's go get a positive road result and get 2020 on a good.
Be sure to follow and be sure to follow us on all of our social media. Be sure to follow. You're in trouble. Sorry, on Twitter. Josh, where can?
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Josh, what's your social media?
It's at 1456.
You can follow. Okay, Justin.
No, I'm not in trouble.
Follow me on Twitter.
All right, Justin.
I'm at Justin Finger. That is my handle. And I'm not in Twitter jail anymore. I haven't been in Twitter jail for a little while.
It won't be very long.
So you can follow me at eochoa_8. I do the live tweeting of Dynamo games on that account for the home Dynamo matches. You can also follow me there. That's where I will usually post the post game interview videos regarding the Houston Dynamo, and be sure to also check out obviously all of the Peels accounts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course YouTube, where Justin will post practice videos and a bunch of Dynamo content as well. And don't forget, guys, anything that comes up on social media when it comes to the Dynamo, whether it's videos from the local media outlets talking about the Dynamo or any kind of articles that you see in both English and Spanish, be sure to not only share and like those posts, but also take the time to read them, because the more visits to the page, the more positive it looks for that there is a market for Dynamo coverage. So be sure to go ahead and do that, and leave some feedback too. And thank the reporter or whoever who took the time to write that or create that content. And show them their thanks. Show them that you appreciate their efforts and their time to covering the Dynamo.
Yep. Well, that's gonna do it for us, guys. I'm Justin.
I'm
Edson.
Yep, there we go. And that's Edson. We're the Peel. Forever Orange. We're out of here.
Bye.